Okay, yeah, hi, Mr. Nichols. I just wanted to let you know I'm calling all the neighbors to kind of apologize for the noise that we had the other day with the 100th review party. Kind of got out of hand a little bit. Really sorry. What happened to your dog? That was something that we did not really plan on. It just kind of went that way. I would pay you back for it, but I really don't want to. So that's where it is. Just thought I'd apologize. Alright, see you later, man. Okay, well, that's all of them. Alright, well, that was a fun review we had last week, but I'm finally getting ready to go back to the standard, and hopefully we won't have to do something that crazy again for a while, because that was kind of time-consuming. Alright, well, anyway, I'm Tekking101, and this is Bleach chapter number 550.
Alright, oh yeah, hi. Hi, Tekking101. It's me, Hollow-Fied, Bonkai 22.
Okay, what do you want?
Well, you know, doing a good job. 100 Bleach reviews? That's pretty good. But let me just tell you right now, you better keep it up, or I'll come for you. I'll reap your soul, motherfucker. Yes, I will.
That was freaky. Hey, look at it this way. At least we got to see Ichigo's hollow mask. Because God knows Ichigo's not using it. Everybody, Tekking101 here to review Bleach chapter number 555, entitled The Hero. I need a hero! Ichigo! Come and kick all those Quincy's asses! Oh, man, I really should start a singing career. I mean, I got the golden pipes, you know? Okay, so we start off with the Soul Palace. Haven't seen this place in a while. Where Korinji is asking Ichigo if he's ready to go. We cut over to Ichigo, sporting some pretty cool new duds, if I have to say so myself. I actually like his new outfit. I'm not really going to complain about it. I mean, he kind of has like a sort of Arabian thing going on here. Obviously, they were designed by Shutara. That's his new clothing. Maybe they contribute to his Ryatsu, or as we'll see maybe a little bit later, maybe kind of like a Ryatsu suppression, kind of like the weighted clothing that like DBZ characters wear. In fact, speaking of weird clothing in Dragon Ball Z, why the hell did Goku never wear that Yardrat outfit more than he could have? I mean, my god, that thing was awesome. Anyhow, aside from sporting some pretty cool new duds, Ichigo's swords also look a little bit modified here. His long sword is now on his back, while his Bowie knife Zanpakuto is at his side. They're both, their handles anyway are wrapped in a cloth. You know, I'm still gonna go with the whole, this is their it's Shikai. I'm not gonna go into like maybe that's a still form now. I mean, Ichigo's swords have always been in a permanent release state. I don't see any reason to go back into a released form at this point, so they're definitely in the Shikai. Ichigo probably was just training with them for, you know, at least a couple of hours or days in this respect. I mean, you could go into maybe like the Soul Palace is a different dimension, therefore there's a different time scale, but I think that's more like a Dangai type thing, the Precipice world. I don't think there's really going to be that much of a time difference in terms of the Soul Palace anyway. But yeah, I think it's the Shikai, and Ichigo's been training with him, so that's probably why he wrapped it in the cloth, maybe to kind of resemble his older Zanpakuto a little bit more, probably make it easier to wield too. Also, the Bowie knife seems to have kind of a sheath going on, which it didn't have when it was first created, so I don't know if that's something else that Shutara made for him, or somebody else crafted for him. Nimaya is the only one we don't see here, that all the members of the Zero Squad show up in this chapter except for Nimaya, so I don't know what he's doing, or why he didn't attend this ceremony thing to see Ichigo off. Regardless, Ichigo says he's ready to go, and he looks around for that big pillar thing, the Techi Churen or something, but Korinji states that it's not here at the moment because they can't use that thing repeatedly. Maybe it has something to do with like the Super Ryatsu clashing with the regular Ryatsu, because of course this is like a separate dimension where there's a different time of Ryatsu, so maybe, you know, switching back and forth like that with that pillar, maybe that too many times is going to damage it, maybe it can only be used once every so often. Regardless of the fact, there's some reason why they can't, they have to come up with some reason why Ichigo can't just like, boop, drop down into the fight, because that would make it too easy, right? No, instead, Korinji asks Shutara to activate the stairs. Korinji states that it's not that far, although it's going to take at least a week even with Shumpo. So, you know, it's kind of a cop-out situation because, you know, up to this point we're just like, oh, the Soul Palace is like a different, it's so far removed from the rest of the Soul Society. There's no way you can access it except for this, you know, Spirit Pillar thing, or maybe the Oaken, which is kind of a Zero Squad member. Oh, wait, now there's a third way. There's a staircase. It's just there so Ichigo can, you know, take longer to get there. That's the only reason that staircase is there. So, Korinji kind of prepares himself because he thinks Ichigo's going to flip his shit over this because of the fact it's going to take so long to get back down, but Ichigo is surprisingly calm and just states that it's alright. And he comes up with the idea that if it takes a week there with regular Shunpo, then he'll just figure out some other way to get there in under half a day. Bonds, or Ichibei, arrives and states to Ichigo that it's okay, you don't have to worry about getting there before the battle starts, because the battle already started 3 hours ago. Oh shit! Ichibei didn't tell Ichigo 3 hours ago when the attack started because, of course, he was still in training. So, you know, I mean, it's funny because the Zero Squad doesn't seem to be very concerned by the fact that the entire Seirete was completely wiped clean and, you know, washed over by the Vanenreich. I mean, I always wondered, I always assumed, just obviously, right, that the Zero Squad was going to fight. I mean, this is the one arc they're introduced. It's the final arc of the series. They finally show up. We don't really know that much about their powers. We have little hints about what they could be, but we don't really know about their full power. I assume they're going to fight, and they still might. It's just that they don't really seem concerned about it. I thought they were all going to go down with Ichigo together. At least one of them was going to go down with Ichigo. But no, they're just going to chill out up there. And they don't even mention going and joining the fight. So I don't freaking know. I know what you guys are probably yelling at me about. You're thinking like, well, the Zero Squad is just there to protect the Soul King. You know, it's like, well, you know, it's kind of, okay, look at it this way. Take, like, a medieval kingdom. Let's say there's this kingdom that has a bunch of villages, and then there's the castle in the center that's ruled over by its entire king, and the king has his royal guard, okay? An invading army comes into this king's territory and starts burning these villages down, and just starts taking over. And then, you know, they're not trying to take over, like, you know, like enslave the kingdom. They're just trying to burn the fucking thing down. The king's royal guards, like the elite of the elite, like the royal knights, you know, they're like, oh, it's okay, all we're in charge of is protecting the king. We don't really care about the king's kingdom. So then the invading army literally wipes out every single piece of this guy's kingdom except for the castle, and then finally the royal guard steps in and wipes out the invading forces. I'm like, okay, we got him, we took care of him. Yeah, but all you have left is a castle! Your entire kingdom is gone! You're king of like 10 people, you fucker! Okay? Like, this is obvious, like shit here. If you enemy invades your territory, and the first garrison unit fails and like falls before them, you send in the next elite squadron. You know, it's just, you want to protect your area as much as possible. Being king of something, by definition, means that you have a kingdom that you rule over and you're willing to protect. That's kind of what it goes with, right? And you tax the shit out of your people, but that's going a little bit too into much realism here. I'm just saying, it doesn't make much sense here. Alright, so Kiryu Hikifune shows up, and she's back in her chubby form. Woo, and tosses Ichigo a rice ball that he can eat if he ever gets hungry on his way back down. Ichigo states that, yeah, sure, when he's in the middle of fighting the Quincy's, he'll just eat it in the middle of the fight. He'll just sneak a bite, yeah. Well, you know, given by Hikifune, that's probably going to be like the rice ball that came directly from Zeus's fridge. I mean, it's probably going to be like the most holy of all, like, you take one bite of it and it's completely, like, rejuvenates him. It's like a sensu bean from DBZ. Making a lot of DBZ references in this video. Gotta hang off on that. So Kiryu, as a side note, states that Ichigo has really changed since his time arriving at the Soul Palace, that his wavering Ryatsu is pretty much just a memory. Ichibei states that he hasn't gotten stronger, he's just grown up, or in a sense he's gained strength in his spirit and repertoire, if nothing else. He's become a true Shinigami. Okay, what is that? 555 chapters into the series, spanning over a period of easily over 12 years, and Ichigo Kurosaki has finally become an authentic Shinigami. Fist bump! We made it, guys! We made it! Oh, I'm so proud of you. Okay, I just have to, like, this is one thing that's just been bugging me, alright? So, anyone else having deja vu here? Like, from when Ichigo arrived to fight Aizen? Because Ichigo, before he fought Aizen, he was fighting Gin, and Gin was like, oh, I don't see any kind of victory in your eyes, you're shaking, you're trembling, you're like a scared little child, there's no way you can win, I'm not even gonna bother fighting you, you're so pathetic right now, it's not even worth it. And then Ichigo fights against, fights against Zangetsu, and then he sees his dad, and his dad, you know, gives him some words of encouragement, and Ichigo finally gets, you know, he gets his confidence back, then he gets his final Getsuga Tensho, then he shows up in Karakura Town and he looks all badass and serious, and Gin's staring at him and he's like, oh yeah, those eyes have confidence, you're ready to go, right? And then, this seems like the same exact thing. I mean, maybe a little bit more differently phrased, but pretty much the same thing. Like, all the Zero Squad members are like, yeah, he's grown up, he's mature, he can do this, he can take them on. It's just like the same thing. Oh, and I swear that it's gonna, maybe not, you know, it's not all gonna pull off. Ichigo's not gonna be all calm and collected, maybe not the entire fight. It's good to be that, of course, when you're fighting. It's good not to just wave your sword around like a lunatic. You're supposed to be calm and deductive of your opponent's skills and abilities. And Ichigo might be like that for the first couple of fights, but he's not going to be calm and collected the entire time. You know something's going to happen that's going to piss him the fuck off. Like, he's going to see Uryu there, and he's going to lose his shit, and it's going to go back to the old Ichigo mentality, just like, Getsuga, Getsuga, Getsuga! You know? It's going to happen. I'm calling it now, alright? So, Ichigo's heading right back down the staircase. In the meantime, I guess he still has his phone on him or whatever that Urahara gave him back in the back at Wakamundo, because he dials him up. And hey, some of you out there were thinking like, oh, maybe he just said Kurosaki-san. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be Ichigo. It could be Isshin. Yeah, that would be cool. That'd be cool, right? Yeah, it wasn't. It was Ichigo. I freaking... It's weird because, you know, Kubo always does shit like this. It's just like he sets it up like it could be it could be something different. It could be something new. But I knew it was going to be Ichigo. I knew it wasn't going to be Isshin. That would be too awesome. So, he dials Urahara up and pretty much gives him the, you know, a short version of exactly what's going on. And it's going to take him a while to get back to the Soul Society. And he states that, Urahara-san, I don't mean to be all, arrogant here, but I would like that you guys don't fight until I get there, because once I do arrive, I'll definitely do something about them. Alright, Ichigo, you know the fight's been going on for 3 hours. Like, I know the Zero Squad and Urahara weren't really specific on how like, he doesn't know, like, the entire Vandenreich was, like, wiped over the Soul Society. He doesn't know all of that shit, so, you know, he's in a rude awakening for that. But he knows that the Quincy's have invaded for 3 hours. Like, what did he think that the Shinigami have been doing for 3 hours? It's just, like, the Quincy's arrived, but before they got into the actual fight, they decided to throw, like, I don't know, a mixer beforehand, like a little get-to-know-you party before they start fighting. Like, they can get a, like, or like, Yuha invades, and he's just like, can we get a do-do-do? Attention all members of the Seirei. This is the Quincy's of Vandenreich, and we're going to invade your asses and kick you into the freaking ground. But before we do that, we have snacks and beverages at the Vandenreich Palace. Colonel Sanders Quincy got some KFC picked up, so come on over and let's have a good old time before we all curb stomp your faces in. You know, just like, you know, like, what is that? I mean, really. And even with Urahara is just... you know, as soon as Ichigo said that, he's like, oh, hold off on the fighting until I get there. You know, Urahara's just like, yeah, Ichigo, sure, we can do that. But no, he gives a look of just, like, approval, and he's just like, oh, Ichigo, you're so much stronger, are you? Understood. We'll be waiting, Kurosaki-san. You know, I might be kind of complaining because in this chapter the mood is definitely triumph or hope. Like, Ichigo is finally coming. He's finally going to join the battle before it's even, like, not like last time where he showed up at the tail end. You know, he's finally going to show up at the battle and he's actually going to contribute something. But I find that... Like, there's also a setting of despair here. We can't forget about that. It's not like Ichigo's going to arrive and fix everything. I mean, yeah, he probably has some really cool badass powers now, but it's the same problem from last time. You know, like when Ichigo was trapped in Kurhei's jail, and, you know, I'm sitting here saying, like, okay, even if he gets out of the jail, even if he gets to the Soul Society, there's so many enemies. There's, like, an insane amount of enemies. You know, there's no way one guy, no matter how strong you are, is going to be able to fight all these guys off. So... you know, the sense of hope is, it's deserved at this point because, you know, the last couple chapters have been, like, complete despair for the most part up until when the Bankai was retrieved. It's been like the Shinigami have no hope here. But it's like Ichigo arriving, what's that going to change? He could take down a couple Sternminers. He's not going to be able to wipe them all off. He's not going to be able to wipe out Yuha, Hashwolf. You still have the problem with Uryu. You have, like, a bunch of, I don't even know if, I guess all of the Sternminers are there this time. I wouldn't see any reason why they wouldn't be if the entire Vandenreich Palace was flipped over. So obviously the entire, you know, legion of Sternminers are going to be there. That's at least a good, you know, 20 plus warriors you have to worry about. And that's not including all the foot soldiers the Vandenreich has, that they bring them too. So, Ichigo, I don't know what you're going to do, man, but it might be pretty cool, but I don't know if it's going to wipe out everybody. You're still going to have a major fight on your hands here. He removes part of his clothing on the way down and goes supersonic. Anyone else have, like, that's another weighted clothing reference to DBZ. Damn it, I did it again. Alright, so final scenes of the chapter. We continue on with Shinji and Komamura's fight against Bambita Bastabine, who just released her Volt Standing, who we don't really get a good, complete view of it, although her arms kind of got taken up by her wings, so she's kind of like a harpy appearance sort of thing. Shinji just questions, what the hell is that, before getting an entire fight. I don't know if it's like... It's kind of hard to tell by the panel. I don't know if the explosion is happening, like, in front of him, and he's getting, like, boom, like, blown back, or the explosion is literally happening, like, on his left shoulder, and it's just like, I just got, you know, blown up here. But regardless of that, Komamura just looks on in shock and awe of that. I guess, I mean, I don't know if it's like Bambita just did that with her mind, or she's still under the influence of Shinji's Zanpakuto. You think she would be. But regardless, we get a little bit of a hint of it when we cut back over to Candace Catnip and the other clique of girls from the Vandenreich, where she activates her Volt Standing as well, but she states they didn't really do it because she wanted to. She said she resonated with the others, so maybe it's like like some of the Sternriders have better control over their Volt Standing than others, and others, if they sense it, they activate it at will. You know, although, because Gazelle's there too, Gazelle Guel, Sternrider Z, and she hasn't activated hers, and she's actually surprised that Candace could even activate hers at all. But regardless of that fact, Candace, I forgot to mention this last time she was shown, but her Volt Standing takes the appearance of kind of like lightning bolts, and even on her hair, I missed this last time because it was so obscure, but her hair at one point even makes like a jagged thunderbolt type appearance, and her letter is T, of course, so she's probably going to be the Thunder. I would just like lightning based powers, because that's pretty much hinted at there. Gazelle, we still have no idea. All the other ones we still have no idea. They're still there though. They mention that they ran off somewhere because Bambita's probably mad at us, but they don't state why they ran off. They don't state, they're still all together, but they don't state why they left her. I don't get it. But regardless of that, Gazelle states that now that Bambita's using it, and because she has got more than a few screws loose, the fight's going to be over in pretty much an instant. No, war's going to be over in an instant. So, I mean, it doesn't take a freaking psychiatrist to know that Bambita is a little bit unstable, you know? Like, that doesn't even have to be, like, no, she's like a freaking nutty bar, you know, she's out there. But, I mean, I don't think it's gonna be that extreme, like, oh, Bambita, yeah, or she's Sternrider E, she ended up being the one that's gonna end the entire war. Pfft, sure, that's gonna go down. Her power's definitely gonna be intense. It's gonna be, you know, insane power. You know, going back to what her power could be, I mean, I've heard explosion, eraser, eviscerator, ecstasy, energy. Like, I have no idea at this point. I mean, we saw her, I'm gonna go maybe with explosion or eraser more now, because we saw her explode the group of Shinigami before her last chapter, and we saw the explosion in front of Shinji. Still doesn't explain the explosion thing she did in the Vandenreich headquarters, you know, anything, or like why she just randomly killed that dude, or hey, maybe that doesn't have anything to do with her power. Maybe that's just her thing. Maybe that's just her fetish. She just likes to kill guys after she fucks them. Maybe that's just her thing. Maybe it has nothing to do with her power. I don't know. You know, Shinji, I don't think Shinji's dead yet. I mean, he still's got hollow powers left, and maybe he did that. Maybe they're gonna pull that at the last second. I just figured that out. They're gonna do that where like Shinji stands back up and he's like all burnt and everything, and part of his clothing's ripped, but he's wearing his hollow mask, and he's just like, oh man, if I didn't activate that at the last second, I could have died. And like, oh no, okay, oh my god. Komamura, he didn't really do anything in this chapter. He just kind of stood there and stared when Shinji got shot. So I mean, maybe he's gonna do something. Maybe he's gonna, you know, try to fight against Bambita. I'd like to know why Bambita's little clique of high school girls wandered off, what they're doing, or something like that, because that's kind of an interesting question. Like, why? Apparently they all stay together, so why did they leave her? Aside from that, I've already kind of went into my thoughts on Ichigo. I mean, he's going to have some crazy power. I don't even begin to know where this is going to go. I'd like to see him. This might sound kind of out there, but I would really like to see Ichigo pull off some Kido. I mean, you figure all the members of the Zero Squad, at least one of them has to be an expert at Kido, or inventor of Kido, or refiner of Kido, or something. You'd think they might have wanted to teach Ichigo like a thing or two, just the basics about it, you know? And, you know, and maybe it's like something going along the lines of, now that he has that Super Ryatsu, maybe the cloak he's wearing from Shutara is like the Aurora handcuffs from Yu Yu Hakusho, or it like suppresses your overall power, and then you remove it, and just like, boom, you know, super strength, now I'm Super Saiyan. Damn it, that's the fourth one! I'm not really trying on this, I really am not. I'm just have a DBZ. I have DBZ on the mind today. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, anyway, regardless of that, next chapter, I'm hoping we finally get an explanation of what Bambita's powers are. I hope we continue to fight with Shinji and Komura. I really don't think we're going to get any more of Ichigo. I don't think that's going to go on. It's the next time we're going to see Ichigo. Next time is going to be him just, like, crashing down in the middle of a fight just when things are getting bad. He's going to crash down and fight him. As for Byakuya, Renji, and Rukia, I don't know. Like, they weren't seen in this chapter. They weren't, you know, Ichibei, who was last seen training Rukia and Renji, he was shown, but the others weren't. I mean, I don't know if they already went back down the staircase or if they're still in the Soul Palace. I have no idea what's up with them. I know Byakuya still needed to get a new Zanpakuto, but the time frame is really sketchy here. It's not exactly like they've been invading for 3 hours, but we still don't know how much time Ichigo has been in the Soul Palace altogether. If we just knew that, that would give like a little bit of a better idea. If he was in there for a couple of days, a couple of hours, a week, I have no idea, because the time frame in Bleach at the moment is so kind of messed up. But yeah, aside from that fact, the next chapter, hope we get the continuing the fight between Bambita, Shinji, and Komura. Alright then, everyone, Tekking101 signing out. See you guys.